It's in here because if you get the third vendor comes in and has never done the school before, and Wilkes went through this 7 years ago, never done the school before, never done this kind of capacity, or has no experience in the state of North Carolina that we can verify, but they're $20,000 cheaper, then that's the reason this line is in here. It's for the attendance allowance.
So then equal points considering all references and records of stability are good records.
I still say deduct a couple points because of the 42 versus 1.
Deduct why now?
Deduct a couple from vendor 1 versus, because of the 42 districts versus the 1 district. And the multi-years that Spectrum has, been servicing nationwide.
And where do you get 2 points?
I deduct some amount of points, not the full 25.
I have to agree because I just feel like that if they are providing to 42 systems, that we should, deduct a few points from River Street. That's my opinion too.
I don't know, I think it's equal. If we were gonna get into this, then it should have been brought up the first time. We've seen these, at equal points were awarded as so then. So I think you run into a lot of margin for scrutiny when you get to messing with very equal dynamics here.
Well,
And again, we took out optional service features, which was one of our big variables and points there.
because the if clause shouldn't have been in that RFP the last time. Could we go on to service level agreement points and then come back to this? Because I have,
Okay. Thoughts on service level agreement points?
now that one, we did discuss that to, when we set the matrix, to say if they both stated and were compliant with the RFP, that those would be equal, correct? Isn't that how that went?
So 25 each there on service level agreement.
And Ms. Woods, did River Street, they're going to put all the lines and equipment up to the schools and they're on their expense, is that right?
Yes, there's no construction cost, just the cost that you see in the bid is what they're charging. And I think if you're asking about the report, have you looked at their?
Yeah, River Street says that they're located at their cost
I
and
believe
pay
it's
for
like
it.
2.2,
2.2?
I believe, construction cost to bring fiber in from the street to Stokes County Schools established on each campus. Any conduit or trenching from the street to the major point of entry must include replacement of conduit pavement and returning the ground to its original condition. All installation, cabling, pathways, etc. shall be specific to the designs of Stokes County Schools compliant. I think there was something about somewhere else when they gave it.
There's another section where River Street actually responds, it says they would be responsible for, it is on 2.14. Utility locates where private or public will be performed at no additional charge to Stokes County Schools during construction and service turn-up. Any damages to existing private utilities will be covered by River Street Networks and at no charge to Stokes County Schools.
If River Street were to get this, June 30th, they're ready to roll July 1. So you cut off one, cut on another, no downtime.
And then
That's
That,
the way it's.
what I read earlier, I think they said 1 to 2 minutes. So unplug one, plug the other in.
Would it be appropriate to ask questions of the vendors?
I don't know that
I don't see any reason, if they're here and you wish to respond, you
should
should.
be a representation for both.
Yes. I know we have River Street. Sir, are you with Spectrum?
Yes, I am.
Ms. Boltrack.
But I don't think, let me say this, I think you have to make your decision based solely on what is in the.
Right, so
responses
really-
that they made. If you have a question of, clarification about something that's in their responses, yes, but, can't do anything that's contrary to what is in the responses.
I want an assurance that during testing time, which will be during construction, that there will be no potential for interference or connectivity. And without getting that answer from a vendor, I don't know how that can be answered.
I
Well,
think that would be a matter of the contract. I think the contract will have to provide for that.
Is there any way to put in the contract?
2.15 says River Street Networks will begin the equipment installation process in May, June 2019 with no disruption to student learning. So they have addressed that in 2.15.
Okay, well, I still have, as a former teacher, I still have major concerns about that when we have exam and testing windows open. I just fear that something could happen and we would have testing irregularities. I don't know enough about the construction of these things, so I don't want any possibility. So I'm wondering, during exam, if we did award to River Street, if they could cease construction during testing times? Or how can they assure that that would not happen? Because that would be the last thing we would want. at
Everybody
any
get a question.
Dr. Rice.
When's the last day of exams?
It's
June
different.
6th would be the last one for high school. June 6th or 7th would be the last one for high schools. The middle school window can be pull up
Well,
testing.
it's gonna be before that, right?
Middle school will start in May, the week right before Memorial Day, and then carry into Memorial Day week. I'm not looking at the calendar, Doug's pulling it up, but that's gonna be the week before and the week after Memorial Day.
So the 20 to 30 calendar, the 20 or so calendar days, elementary could go in May, middle school could go late May, high school could go after exams, if a change is done.
Well, and again, I don't work for River Street, and I don't work for River Street installation. I think what they're saying is it would take 20 to 30 days. 20 to 30 calendar days in May or June. So tonight, 18 schools would take basically a day of school to put it even. So I'm not gonna speak for them. But I think it would take 20 to 30 days.
You
I think
understand?
if we schedule that
Sure,
in the
there are.
contract to say, these are dead periods,
I feel comfortable stating that there's not gonna be 20 separate or 19 separate crews coming in. So in the event it's awarded one way or the other, or one way, vice versa, that could be a scheduling issue.
well,
That we would want to
we
spell.
would let our expectations be known that we don't have a ditch switch outside the window when exams are going on. Yes.
I don't even know if my concern is legit, but, you know.
I almost kind of think not, in a sense, as far as, you know, they would locate lines, right? They've made that clear, so it's not like any lines would be cut, and then I would think that surely,
Yeah, how many lines get cut after they're done?
well, as far as internet, you know, and then as far as construction, are you thinking lines once they got onto our property? Is that where you're mainly concerned?
I just don't want the computers to go down.
Are you thinking the lines can be
Well,
cut out on the
I
side of the
don't
road? I mean,
either.
with the way
I do not want
technology,
any computers to
you
go
know,
down.
advancements are now, those lines can easily be
It's
recognized.
just a general expectation.
Yeah.
We don't have any work going on the network or any around the network during testing days.
Right.
That would be an expectation.
And I believe it's in the RFP to say at no downtime or, you know, to students or disturbances to students, so I would think.
I thought all of this was gonna be done prior to school starting in August.
We asked for a July 1st start date. Our other contract ends June 30th. So we would have, this RFP would start July 1st, with them ready to go.
So everything, I mean, we'll be ready to go by the start of the next school year.
Right.
And we're thinking we'll miss the testing window, because, you know,
Mr. Rose, do you share any of that concern that I expressed? Because I did express this at the last discussion as well, about exams and construction time.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at 2.15, there's a statement there. I did say construction will be going on, but it will be no disruption to students' learning. So when we're in the testing windows, my expectation will be that there is nothing going on that campus or installation during that time.
and some,
Because if you do, you have potential to disrupt student learning, and that wouldn't work.
I would think that, like I believe I read in here, you know, after hours or weekends or something is a strong possibility, you know.
Just so it's ready to, everything's good.
It says, when needed, River Street Networks would work during off hours to complete installation. And when needed, to me, is during testing. That is needed in off hours. It's not needed in those hours.
But would all the schools be connected by then, by the time we start testing in the fall?
We're still
But the
expecting.
guarantee here.
Will we still inspect?
We're still expecting through this school year.
The spectrum would stay up and running through June 30th.
Of this school year?
Yes, ma'am. So we would have spectrum for our testing this time. Again, when I spoke to Wilkes County, when they said they switched over 7 years ago, I believe she said that they were ready outside the building, they were ready 7 days before conversion. July 1st, they switched it over, and they were rolling. I asked them, did they notice any difference in service, and she said no. So she said that they were ready on their timeline there 7 years ago in Wilkes County.
So are we back to the vendor stability portion? We've given out all the points, and if we follow this message and this letter, 2 points, each variance. That makes that point. And then,
I don't know, like what you said, it's not something that you can put a number value to, so I think you open up yourself for further scrutiny. I really do, when you get into messing with that, especially when you've awarded full points
I'm just saying, if we
previously.
did, it's even points, and I'm all or nothing, because I can't put figures.
That's why I'm like trying to figure out where the 2 comes from, that's all.
Well, I didn't
She
say
didn't
two.
say 2, she said a couple of points or whatever. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
did
know
not
what you
say
meant.
two, but
Yeah, I'm just all for the couple of figures.
two, yeah, I said.
But in today's society, a couple could be like 14 people.
I think honestly, I think it's insulting to the carrier that we've had all these years and we've not had any problem with, to award it equally to the other vendor, because we've just had a little bit of experience with them from the early college. So like here you've had this vendor that you've not had any problem with for years and years, and you give them full points, and then if you give the other carrier full points, I just feel like it's an insult to Spectrum. I really do.
Personally, I see it as experience is experience. It would be different if one had no experience with the school system. Again, it's hard to put a number amount on that. Both have exemplary reports from both companies as far as prior experience and capability. So I really think you're opening yourself up for scrutiny when you get into deducting and affecting points that previously was issued at no worry.
Okay.
But there's 42 districts that have Spectrum, you know, and there's one district that has.
So should we
River
ever
Street.
have competitive bids?
Sure, we
You
should,
know?
we
We
should,
have to.
and we have to. But I'm just stating my opinion.
Okay. Well, Becky, did you? What do you?
Okay, the way I look at it, I mean, as far as, I said give them 25 points, and as far as, there's a lot of what ifs, maybes, but I mean, if you go with what River Street provided, as far as going through the list of how they were gonna do certain things, I mean, I'm comfortable with the fact that, they'll do a great job. And as far as Spectrum, I know Spectrum's done a great job by us, but we're looking at each individual thing, and I don't think we can fault Spectrum, nor can we fault River Street. I mean, give them both equal points of 25. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of splitting hairs, but if you just break it down to what it is, that I feel like the Spectrum and River Street both deserve 25 points on that.
Okay, I just have concerns over this whole bidding process, how it's gone down, not only this time, but going back. I mean, the history of this WAN bid, last one, maybe the last two cycles, and maybe one before that. But this past time, the bid process carried over, it was between boards. I don't feel that and I stated this before, that the first RFP, I don't think it was well written with that one statement in there that gave the optional service points of the capability for River Street to put in 2G at no cost. I don't think that that should have been in that first one. You've mentioned, Cheryl, that you know, we could be open to scrutiny with this. I think no matter what is decided, we could be open to scrutiny given the history of this whole project. This county has put a huge investment into River Street now, so far, and unfortunately, we don't have a lot of connectivity with our represented and underserved communities thus far. I don't like the fact that they came to this county on the promise of a three-pronged thing where Stokes County Schools was going to be one of their main reasons to be able to make those connections to homes. I don't know that Stokes County Schools, I wasn't part of this board at the time, but I don't feel that that was a good deal to have brought them here with a promise that they would get the county, the schools, and the hospital. I don't feel that it is our responsibility as a school system to see them move forward with their business. Not to say that I don't want all of our students to have connectivity if their families can afford it, all throughout Stokes County. That is very important to me too, because I want our students to have everybody on an equal learning ground. That meeting we had at Poplar Springs, where we did where the board did decide 3-2 to put it back out for bid, I had thoroughly investigated reasons to not put it out for bid then. And I still feel that we did not have to vote to put it out to bid because this has not, I don't think we made this public at the time, but Spectrum agreed to eat the cost of the school that was omitted in their bid. We did not need to post it, because it's posted as an E-rate RFP, we did not need to put that it was a publicly open bid. School of Government agreed on that point. I feel it's only fair to Spectrum that the public knows that they had agreed to absorb that cost of that one school. Like I said, I share the vision of having internet available to all Stokes County, and I hope that if this does go to River Street tonight, that they become more aggressive with their marketing and not put it on the backs of those who want the service. That has nothing to do with the school system, but that's my hope. I would recommend, this is where I want to ask a question of both vendors here this evening, because something in the attachments that Pam sent out to us today indicate that River Street does split a contract with one of their large customers, and I believe that that might be split with Spectrum or a partner of Spectrum's. I'm not sure if it's, I think it's got to be somewhere in Wilkes County that they split that. So that's one question. Because our RFP, I believe it's in the last line, says that the board reserves the right to award the contract to more than one vendor. Therefore, to make my concerns, to address my concerns with the stability of connectivity for our students and for our schools, I would like to see some, and because of the potential scrutiny, no matter what we do, I would think it would be equitable to consider reserving the right to award more than one contract for this wide area network. I don't know how we would do that. I do have a suggestion. I don't know. This is totally technical. But to give, because we did put it out to bid, and because of the fact that we did put it out to bid, we are saving a considerable amount of money as a county to do this. But I feel that it would be equitable to Spectrum and to lessen the chance of scrutiny if we would split the bid and possibly do it. I liked River Street's diagram here, how they divvied up our county, something possibly like the 7, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7 schools in the King area, the majority of the population, for those to remain with Spectrum, and for River Street to represent the other 12 schools plus central office and the bus garage, if this is a technical way to do it, an optional way to do it. That way we can all hope that River Street, doing that going forward, would be able to connect to the homes sooner rather than later by giving them the business in those, the majority of our schools, the ones that are in less populated areas. Now, Mr. Johnson, I don't know if it's appropriate for you to ask them if they do indeed split, but I would like to know that.
I think first we need to finish on Matrix.
Yeah, I think we're getting outside of the proposal when we start,
Well,
you know, and again, we gotta
It
stick
was
to
in
what we
it was in the proposal to split, but should we finish the Matrix first? Since
I
that's
think it's a
what-
good idea to finish the matrix, but you can certainly ask them it's mentioned in there about 4 different places about the board does have the right to award more than one contract.
That led to my point about experience. I would like to deduct points from vendor one, make them equal,
And that's,
therefore split.
and that's a board decision. I mean, the board, technically, the board member can make a motion to award a certain number of points to vendor one and vendor two, and you take three votes to do that.
We need to do this like we did the other night with the other issue and vote to move this item to action first, and then get in the act and make a motion like Ms. Knight did the other day to see if it dies or gets voted on, and another motion, to see how that carries out, or we'll get it appropriate.
I think we can do that.
Can we just do a consensus poll?
No, look, I think when you pull out, numbers that we can't support out of thin air based on a variable factor to, both companies having equal, good, clear references, I just think you're opening yourself up for further scrutiny. I mean, and again, we want to stay within our E-rate window. I think it's pretty cut and dry. We're making this a little too complicated. I mean, compared to last time, it was even points awarded. When we got rid of optimal service features, it put it back
That
to,
did not happen. Because
Still.
it never went out, so we need to accept the fact that it never.
it was awarded, it went out.
No, it was not awarded and filed, so therefore it didn't happen, so we don't have to worry about it coming back out. We pulled it back before we filed. So we need to accept that because this board agreed on that.
And we also agreed on a weight system that focused more on cost.
I'm not arguing that one at all. I'm just clarifying for the record. Technically, the last 4 seconds never happened.
So it never was awarded, it never went out, it can't be contested at all going forward.
I have so
You can't
much.
look at years and years in the past with these bids.
I mean, anybody can make a case for history.
And I think we're getting in that gray area of making a case that we can't support.
I'm saying them.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
I say something?
Mhm.
Okay, I've heard what Katie's had to say. And the thing about it is that when we start at the point that we're realizing that we need to put out a request for bids for a certain job or project, we have certain requirements of what we're wanting to have done. Well, if we want to do what Katie said, that should have been done at the very beginning. That when we put the contract out for bids, that we explain exactly what we were wanting, and if we were wanting 2 vendors, one to handle one part of the county and one to handle the other part of the county, and what would they do it for? I mean, that's where we could be at now. But right now, we're at a situation where we put out that we wanted bids for a certain service to be rendered to
So it would
us.
almost need to be a new 470 detailing how it's split.
RFP states we can work to more than one.
Could I
person.
finish?
I'm not saying that's the right idea or the best idea. I'm just saying that is legally we can do that.
But I'm saying, I mean, we're at a point now where we're getting ready to approve, and then we're throwing this in, and if you wanted to have done it this way to begin with, it would.
But Becky, we didn't know. We didn't know who would bid and what would come back.
But it's gotten very complicated that we should have already addressed. We should have done more forethought if that's where we wanted to head to. Now we're looking at the fact that we're here, we've got 2 vendors who have submitted a bid, and we're at the point of deciding which one we're going to utilize. And now we're talking about that we might need to, am I looking at it wrong? That we need to go and put out,
No.
put make the bid more specific?
Maybe Ms. Wood can clarify this. I
Can
mean,
you
it
explain,
sounds-
cause this is getting very
The reason
confusing.
that sentence is in an RFP is in case, for example, 10 years ago with telephones in this county, we had 3 telephone companies. CenturyLink could not provide telephone service in Windstream's area. Windstream could not provide telephone. If we had awarded a bid like this then, we would have had to have given it to 3 vendors because they couldn't cross those lines. And at the time that we started the RFP process in 2006, 7, 2009, excuse me, we didn't know that we would have a vendor that could do the entire county.
So it's really not all that applicable to us, or we would need further
But it's
business.
still in there. You know,
IT
there's-
explanation
but
outside of,
The
you know.
reason behind it was in case a vendor, we didn't have a vendor who could offer it to all locations.
And again, not knowing who would show up.
Right.
If internet provider XYZ said, we can come into Sandy Ridge and offer it for $200 a month, then we may have awarded Sandy Ridge to them and the other schools to another provider that could in that area.
Madam Chair, might I suggest you just consensus poll the board so we decide whether we get 25 points or we get a
May I ask Sarah one thing? For the E-rate, can you, submit a split bid?
Could we submit 2 contracts?
Well, you know, it was put in here, and was this in here before, the split bid?
It's all, yes, that was. The
In there.
reason that was in there was at the beginning when we didn't know whether we would ever have a vendor that could do the entire county.
And two, it
But-
gets complicated, right, on what would the cost be, and how do you determine that if you're using 2 different vendors, and then, I don't know, it just gets very complicated with the overall total cost.
Every vendor quoted different facilities that have different costs.
Yeah, but you
So,
don't know.
so you could with the E-rate do the split bid if it comes
If
to
you
something
worded
like
it
that.
way.
I think we could award more than 1 contract.
It seems like you could have outside contestant, say one side of the county had somebody, you know,
Well, they'd
a
have
vendor,
who they
if
wanted.
they would have known it was gonna be like that to just one small section, they might have been felt like they could show up and bid as well, but it wasn't advertised like that, or fairly given the opportunity on the front end.
Exactly.
Again, we're making this way too complicated.
That's the reason I say we vote on the
This is
matrix,
what
because
we vote on.
we're no closer than we were 20 minutes.
Okay, consensus wise, who's okay with awarding equal points, on the vendor stability, experience, and record of past performance?
Because I can't put a number on it.
Because you can't put a number on
I
it.
can't, there's no way to mathematically say, okay, X amount.
So
of
like
years
3 out of
experience.
5, it's kind of all or nothing, and so a full 25 for both, you, Ms. Tedder?
As previously stated, and now I will state that I would like them to go to 2 points, so it would be an equal points, so we could entertain splitting the contract.
And you, Ms.
But
Nestor?
I do want to hear from the vendors about their opinion at some point about splitting, not at this point.
Well, I would deduct some points too. 2
But
or
again,
3.
I would agree, it's hard to really put a logical, mathematical equation on
Right,
that.
but I would not
Something
award
like-
25 points.
Okay, and you, Ms. Balls?
I'm with equal points.
Equal points. So the majority says award equal points in both
So
categories.
I think that's you're saying equal, because you never voted.
Yes, sir, equal points is fine, equal points. Any other advice for Mr. Johnson?
Could now we ask them?
Ask her.
She wanted to ask the vendors. if
I'm not
they-
gonna allow it. Yeah, I don't think it's appropriate at this point, considering,
They said it in one of their things, I just want clarification.
I think we're basing it off of what we've got in front of us. And the opportunity's already been there, the window is closed, you know, I just wouldn't wanna be scrutinized or, E-rate, you know, I just don't wanna open up that window.
That's why we don't need to talk about the last 470 that didn't occur.
Okay.
So we cannot ask about their experience with splitting.
So we need a motion to move the item to action.
I make a motion to move the item to action.
Is there a second?
Thank you, Mike.
All those in favor of moving it to action?
Aye.
Moving on to the action agenda. So all those in favor of awarding the bid to vendor one?
Madam Chair, point of order, you never asked for a motion in a second.
Okay. So I need a motion to, act on this bid or award the bid.
You got a motion?
Is there a
You
second?
need to say what your motion is.
Just for clarity, I think we should state what the motion is, to award it to which vendor, just for the minute.
So I choose which one?
If we go with the full total of 2525 for the way it is, the way that I've got it, now, correct me if I'm wrong,
Vendor one has 100, vendor two has 98.
98.06.
Okay, so I
So
got,
I need a motion to award the bid to the House Point vendor, River Street.
I make a motion to award the contract to River Street with the highest, count of 100.
Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say this, our job is not whether they get, it's the internet, from the time they get on the bus to the time they get home. It's not about the community. We need to realize that we have saved $18,000 over the previous non-compliant bid, so that needs to be corrected, that this board has saved $18,000 per year by sending this out for rebid and not accepting the last bid. So I just want that on record. As far as the splitting it up, I'm not gonna be the one that says, you're the guinea pig, you try this vendor. You're not a guinea pig, we're happy with where we're at, that's not something I can agree on. So, that's all I have to say.
Again, where do we stand with the motion?
Well, we all need to
Discussion.
have time to discuss. You're done with yours?
Yeah.
Well, I expressed all my concerns as a former employee of Stokes County Schools, given the lesser experience of River Street, although I applaud them coming to Stokes County. I'm glad, I would like to see business go local, but I'm just very concerned about the stability of our system for our schools. And I would like to see them gradually get into the business with us and not 100% right now. So that's where I stand. Why try to fix something when it hasn't been broke? But I do appreciate that we are saving money. I just hope they can live up to their promises and then further connect our underserved in the very near future. And one more thing, sorry.
No?
One more thing, part of their promotions is that they are a co-op and that the money that they do bring in goes to scholarships. I don't know how that is divvied out, but I am interested in hearing what they have to say about how they do that and how that process is. And I hope that that is accurate and that that's what they will do beginning next school year.
We can follow up. Yes, ma'am.
Well, being a former school employee and being still aware of all the testing in the schools, and talking to a lot of testing coordinators who work diligently with the computers to get them up and running for the testing and know what a job that is. And when one of them goes out, or if any of them go out, or something goes wrong with just one particular computer, that becomes a testing irregularity, and that must be reported to the state when you have a testing misadministration. I feel like that I can't speak for all these school employees, but I have spoken to many who say we've never had a problem with Spectrum, and we rely on that bandwidth that we have to have. So, I do applaud River Street for coming in. I do want them to put connectivity to all underserved, but I do know that the county commissioners has given them either 1.6 million or 1.8 million when they came, and they've only connected to roughly 121 or so sites. That's a lot of money to give a new company coming in. And so I really hope that they will live up to what they have promised, that they will get all the schools connected quickly, and that if any problems arise while testing's going on, or just simply having internet for the school all day long, you have to have it all day long. And with all these kids with their computers now, their Chromebooks, and they're bringing them home and they're doing their homework, but they're also having to have that thing charged so when they go back to school, they're connecting with their teachers. It's really a big deal now. Our county has finally, this rural county has finally turned a corner. Our kids actually have one-on-one devices. Many of the school systems have had that for years, but now we've turned a corner and at least have it. And hopefully, it'll come to the elementary school and they'll have it too. But we have to have the proper amount of bandwidth. And so, I just hope that they'll live up to what they say. I appreciate Spectrum, I appreciate River Street. It was a fair and open bid. I'm looking forward to what River Street is going to be bringing on board to the school system. Have all the confidence that they're going to fulfill the commitment that they have put forth that they would do. It's exciting to think about the new horizon that is ahead, that a lot of our students will have the opportunity to be able to possibly have internet one service in their area, and look forward to the next 3 years of doing business with River Street. I have heard nothing but good about River Street, and I appreciate all the effort and everything for over the years that Spectrum has done. And I look forward to this commitment and what all we're going to see happen with our school system, with the service. That's it.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to thank, both vendors. We've had exemplary, service, and we thank you. And again, we look forward to, our new service providers and whatever. But again, I think this was a competitive bid process, and we just have to follow it correctly. It's no, fault in either provider or anything like that, but I just appreciate, both of them being competitive, and thank y'all. So the vote on it would be to award River Street vendor 1 with the land bid. All those in favor? Any opposed?
No.
Nay. Yeah.
We use some feedback to clarify some of the incorrectness that we.
You could take the t-shirt,
Because we didn't know this,
It does